Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Games, and we're here today with another Collect-A-Thon video where I take a look at a collection, in this case video games, and give my general thoughts about them and if they've changed over time. Now this one's actually a funny video because it actually has an update from a previous Collect-A-Thon about Nintendo Amiibo. But what I haven't actually done yet, even though I am going to skip over a couple console generations for now, is talk about one of the more recent Nintendo consoles and is compatible with the Nintendo Amiibo, and that is the Wii U. This is something that I got some time ago, and I thought this would actually be a good compromise of some things for moving to a new gen and leaving an old gen into a backwards compatibility function, but maybe it didn't work out just the way that I was expecting it to. I still think there are good things about the Wii U in general, but it's not going to be as crazy a collection as other video game consoles have been in the past. So let's take a look at my collection of Wii U games and my updated collection of Nintendo Amiibo. First off, we'll have an update to my Nintendo Amiibo collection. Funny thing about this is, it's actually smaller than I previously have shown on the channel or even in haul videos. That's because a lot of the Amiibo that I purchased were through like a GameStop offer of like getting pre-owned ones. It was usually a buy two, get three free sort of thing, so it allowed me to stock up on a lot of them at once or combine it with Disney Infinity figures. A lot of them that I got were to get the costumes in Super Mario Maker. It's one of my favorite of Wii U titles, spoiler for later in the video, but it's one of my favorite Wii U titles, and I wanted to unlock a lot of different stuff to keep the creativity going. Even though I didn't really care about franchises like Animal Crossing or have any real sense of needing to collect every figure, they were just fun to add other costumes in there and try to develop new ideas for levels or just have fun playing around with it. So the ones I have here are mostly because of a game that I always need to put them back into. These two, if I ever have to put them back into Super Mario Maker, it always has to like tap them every time. You can't have it saved in there like most of the other costumes. But most of the other ones in here are for something else that I need to always tap in every time I play the game, and that is Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. It's another one of my favorite Wii U games, and it is a fun one to play through, and I am trying to complete it, so there are some Amiibo I'm actually missing to get some of the unlockable features in there. For example, there's Bowser Jr. and Yoshi, and that could be any version of Yoshi, plush or not, or Mega or not, that I would need to have with me and go into the game again. But I'm still on the lookout for those. They have been a little harder to find in my area, pre-owned or new, so I'm doing as best as I can to get those sometime later. But in the meantime, I have been going through each of the other ones and unlocking as many features as possible. Funny enough, this is a Skylanders figure and an Amiibo. They also have one like this for Bowser because there were two Nintendo exclusives for Skylanders Superchargers where they switch back and forth between a Skylanders or an Amiibo figure. So it's actually really cool to not only find it that way, but also it's one of the few times I've found Donkey Kong in a pre-owned condition, and I'm like, well, if it still works, why not? Shovel Knight, I have it mostly because it is a great looking figure. I have played Shovel Knight before on the PC, and when I was going into the Wii U version of it, I did want to get some more features, so it was just a double header for getting his figure. I don't really keep any of these boxes or many of them sealed, but I do have to mention one in here that I can't bring myself to open. I may even have to get a pre-owned figure to use it, but I can't see myself opening up this defective Mega Man Amiibo. This is real. This was something I got for my birthday. It was the only one left in a Toys R Us for any Mega Man Amiibo, and it's defective because he's twisted around in the packaging. I mean, he still has all the printing and everything on his face, but as you can see here, not lining up so well with the inner plastic. So, and I'm pretty sure that little foil piece is underneath it, you know, so you can't just scan it and, you know, never open it or anything like that. But I would be happy getting another Mega Man Amiibo pre-owned just to unlock him for one of the costumes Super Mario Maker, and then just keep this one sealed. I love Mega Man as a figure, as a character, and I did want to still collect him as an amiibo, whether or not I was going to use it in Super Mario Maker, but this I can't bring myself to opening up. This is priceless. The rest of the box is still the same as before. I don't really use the amiibo too much with Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. I have tried once or twice with the training portions of it, but it's not a feature I've fully understood or embraced. So there it is. And there are some of these that are just like, they do look nice, so I still want them out of their, designs. The Silver Mario, didn't have to get it, but I still like it, and I got on discount. This is the specific version of Luigi that I wanted, even over the Super Mario one. I love this one a little bit more for his design, based on Move and Melee. And these two, I still like their designs, even though they do have to tap in the game so frequently. But I still like the fact that it's a 3D version of 8-bit Mario. I would still try to get the Link version as well to go with them all. And if there are any other ones out there, probably those two. Other than that, Yoshi and Bowser Jr. are next on the chopping block for ones I want to get. Pre-owned Mega Man, as I mentioned before. But there's also a couple other ones I think, Amiibo figures do look nice, and I would like to collect some of them, but just not every one. Some of the other ones I would go for would include Wario, Waluigi, and Boo. I'd have to look over the list of Amiibo and see if there are any other ones I'm missing that I would like to get. I would probably get Sonic the Hedgehog again, because I did have him previously to use in Smash or in Super Mario Maker. But yeah, he would look pretty good next to regular Mario. So that's all I have for the Amiibo update. Now let's get on to the Wii U games. If you thought my collection of Nintendo Amiibo was small, then you should see my collection of Nintendo Wii U games. There are 9 games so far that I have for the Nintendo Wii U, and only 2 of them are digital. I bought the Wii U as a bundle with Mario Kart 8, so it's already preloaded on there and technically my first game. Splatoon I bought at the same time, so it was the second one, and I bought it not at the launch or right after the bundle was announced. This was like October of 2015, right towards the end of October, where I was finally ready to get into the Wii U. Now, the funny story about moving on to this console is that I basically wanted to have a handful of games that were from the Wii U library, but also have access to my Wii library. So, in the process of gathering money and trades to get the Wii U, I actually traded in my second Wii console in order to get the Wii U, so that it would serve as doing both. It would allow me the variety of newer games, and also allow the backwards compatibility of older games. I wasn't worried about losing backwards compatibility for the GameCube from the Wii, because I already own a GameCube and I can still play them through there. So I thought this would be a neat 2-in-1 with a handful of newer titles that I could experience. But looking at the titles by themselves with the Wii U, it does feel a bit weak. And nowadays, I've actually gone back to get a Wii console that I could play all those games on and save everything, because this does have a bit of a low storage space for a lot of things. And, a little disappointed. I feel like there are more Wii U titles out there that I haven't looked into, and I probably should, but for right now, this is what I know at best. So, the other digital downloaded game that I have for this I mentioned before was Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge, and I think there's technically a third one, not of that game specifically, but like of digital downloads. There's like an Amiibo remix sort of game, I forget what it's called, but you can see it on the screen here. And that's kind of cool, but I never fully embraced that one. I did use Amiibo with it to unlock different modes in different games, but that's not one that I really go back to playing that often. I didn't really see much challenge in there, or really see a thing that I should really, improve my skills when playing each of those mini games. Moving on from that, Mario Kart 8 is okay. It's not personally my favorite of Mario Kart titles, and that one actually goes to Mario Kart Double Dash. That is honestly my favorite, but I still think it's a worthy successor to Mario Kart Wii. It does improve on a lot of different things. It adds some new mechanics. There are some new characters. I like the track diversity because they really do feel like they go all over the place and have like a nice feel for like trying to get used to the tracks without them being too boring. They really stand out from each other very well. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe I have played on the Switch, and I do think it is an improvement from that. So I can't really say that Mario Kart 8 by itself is the best. It's just a good follow-up, but not my personal favorite. Super Mario Maker is probably the next game in line that I am really into. It basically sold me on the Wii U, and no other person has sold me on the Super Mario Maker and the Wii U like Gerard the Completionist. I thank Gerard for his review about this game and a little bit about the Wii U and how they work in tandem, because that helped me really get into this console and some of the other games that are shown here. I love Super Mario Maker's creativity. I'm not really the level designer type, but I have tried experimenting with it a few times, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Whether I posted them online, on the Miiverse or whatever, RIP, and maybe just use them on my own, whatever it may be. Sometimes I use ones that are from the community, and they're still fun to play, and they have varying difficulties, so I like the diversity in there, and some of them are really clever with the mechanics, like with all the tools that they use in the games from the NES Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii. They really add a lot to each of the levels to make them their own, but still using familiar assets. And that's something I would love to see, play around with a lot more in the future. There are some levels that I've only seen, but I want to play, but I haven't gotten to them yet. And it's also great for having the costume feature. I just feel like that's a lot of fun to go through those and try to unlock them. It's not a game that I aim to complete because there are a lot of things that I don't think I'll be able to get to, but it's a fun ride nonetheless, and nice to break up from all the other side-scrolling platformers just to have some casual fun. New Super Mario... The second game that I got for the Wii U after Mario Kart 8 was Splatoon, and this was actually a fun change of pace. I'm not usually the first-person shooter type, and I know this has a lot of reminiscence of Jet Set Radio. Some people have compared it a lot of that to the aesthetic of the game, and I've never actually played it, but I still like the way it looks, so that's not too bad. I really do like Splatoon, but I've only really played the online multiplayer for it. I still want to go through the campaign mode so I can get a better understanding of the types of weapons and better strategy when I am playing online, because I usually get my butt whooped on there. I try my best to at least get a, experience with it, but I'm only going to go so far before I need to do more training on my own and upgrade some of my features. So I really do like that game. It was a great IP from Nintendo. I really do think they struck gold with it and trying to make it into Splatoon 2. I would be excited to play that at a later time. The way that you use the gamepad, it was confusing for me at first and took a little while to get used to, but eventually I did get used to it. So I didn't really mind it as much compared to other games for FPSs or anything else, where you don't have to worry about gyroscopically moving your controller around, basically motion controls, in order to aim properly. I still have a little bit of work with it, but I do have a fun time while playing it. Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U is a good follow-up from the Wii version, but I think it does have a few hiccups here and there, and there aren't a lot of features that I could fully embrace. I do like the addition of some of the characters. I think they work great into the game, and the designs look better and better with every Smash title. I don't like the Smash Tour. Bar none, I have no interest in playing it. I've tried a little bit of it, but from what I've seen, that's too much. It's too boring for me. I have nothing that really would get me into Smash, like Smash Tour. Next up, we have Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. This was a good follow-up from the Wii version, and with every installment, the graphics get better, the character roster is improved, I do like the diversity of everyone's abilities, and it helps me try out more characters without sticking to just my mains. So, I do like all the different things that are included with this, except for one or two things. The Amiibo feature of using trainees, it's hit or miss for me. I really don't see a point to it. Maybe I haven't fully gone through all the features, but I really didn't see a point to it that much when I can already set a computer player to battle against. I didn't see the need of trying to train an Amiibo to fight better than I can, because it's not doing anything for me much as a player if I just, set a computer to a higher difficulty or something like that. I mean, yes, it's an adaptive difficulty, and there is something to try to conquer with that, but in terms of tournaments or anything, I don't really compete in Smash tournaments, and I also don't see the need to make an Amiibo compete in Smash tournaments as well. It's a fun, casual game. It's pretty good for an update from the Wii version. I do feel like there is something that is really boring with it. I mean, the other thing I don't like about this is Smash Tour. It's a board game style setup of battling players, and you unlock abilities or try to improve skills with it. It just doesn't work for me. I don't think it really works in that atmosphere the way that a tournament mode did previously with Super Smash Bros. Or even like the Subspace Emissary, which was incredibly long, but it still had like a fun way of combining all the characters into a cohesive narrative and fight all of them at one point. So there's not much I can else say about that. It is still fun to play, but it's not one that I come back to so frequently. Another game that I have on the Wii U as a digital download is Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. I mentioned this previously, but this is actually one of the games I love playing through, and I am trying to complete in some way on the Wii U. It's a free game that I found just by chance at Target, and I later learned it's also on the Nintendo eShop, and who's to turn down a free game? But it's not just the fact that it's a free game, but it's actually a fun game. I'm personally a puzzle type of gamer. Every once in a while, I do like a puzzle game, and Mini Mario is something I haven't really gone into before, even though I have known it since like the Game Boy Advance version. But this was actually a fun thing to do, not only with having Mario involved, but a bunch of other characters as well. And it's fun to see that each of them have different abilities and how they work. You can have the same Amiibo in a stage, and then use another Amiibo in the same stage, and they could be totally different in how they approach the stage. I really do like that about this game. I am trying to get the other Amiibo, as I mentioned before, so I am looking forward to completing that game and all the little puzzle solving that goes along with it. Some of the other titles that I have in here, I haven't actually played too much. And they're for various reasons, and there's actually some things that kind of make me worry about actually going through them. Shovel Knight, I have actually played before on the PC. I've gotten a good way through the game previously, and then I decided, well, maybe this will be a little bit easier controls-wise for the Wii U. So I do have to basically start over with that, but I do still welcome the two-player option of this, so just in case I do have a pal over, and we could both play with a couple extra features, hence using the Amiibo. But it is still a good game as it is for a platformer. I think it has excellent music and writing, and all the details look fantastic in the game. There's not a dull moment that I can find through Shovel Knight. It does get, progressively challenging over time. I appreciate that, but it is still something that for the Wii U edition, I haven't played that much, but I am looking forward to in the near future. Super Mario 3D World actually reminds me of Super Mario for the Wii, or rather the new Super Mario Wii version. But it is something that I think we'll have a lot more fun with if I do play it with more than one person. Yes, I could play through the game on my own, but I currently haven't. And it is still one that I know is a good game from all the recommendations and reviews I've seen about it. It is one that intrigues me for some of the features and how it's actually improved on the new Super Mario formula. But it is still one that I have yet to actually go through. I mean, not too long before this video, I actually unwrapped it for the first time. So it's been sitting around for a while. It's one that I've wanted to get to, but I just didn't have the time commitment. But I feel like it'll be a lot more fun if I play with another player as well, so you can go through the levels a little bit faster and have more fun just going all around the place and, you know, exploring it a bit. For the LEGO games, I haven't played them much either, but they have some merit as to why. LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham, I have not played that much because I haven't finished LEGO Batman 2. It takes quite a while for me to get through LEGO Batman 2, and I do have the Wii version of it, but I do like how it's a longer story than the previous LEGO Batman video game back in, 2008 or so? Anywho, it may be a little bit too long for my taste, but it is still something that I want to fully understand before I go into this one. I'm sure that the story carries over, and I'm sure that there are a lot of fun things to unlock throughout the game as far as DC superheroes, but I will have to complete Batman 2 before I move on to Batman 3. Or at least beat it. I don't have to unlock every feature, but, you know, this is the one I'm looking forward to. LEGO City Undercover, I haven't really played that much because I need to really understand a bit about it. I know recently the Switch had the LEGO City Undercover put onto there. I don't know if there's any difference between the two versions, but it's still something that I'm kind of intrigued about. Some people have compared this to like a kid-friendly version of Grand Theft Auto. How you can move around a city and do all kinds of cop work. You have different disguises to break into places. It's pretty interesting on the surface, but it's something that I just haven't had the time to commit to yet. I do look forward to it. I'm sure there's plenty of cool things about it. And I've even heard that because it's a Wii U exclusive and has some Nintendo influence in there, it actually has a bunch of Nintendo references throughout the game, like even in brick form. So I am looking forward to that as well. I think there is I'm hoping that there is some good writing throughout it. The LEGO games have been a little iffy as far as unique storytelling and writing, but I do think they are trying to get better over time as they introduce dialogue with more characters. Some of them are just complete rips from the movie, but this is a unique property, so I'm expecting something that's a good effort. And there we have a look at all of my Wii U titles, and a little bit of my thoughts on every one of them. For the past year, maybe year and a half at this point, I've actually had a big conundrum when it comes to the Wii U, and that is the advent of the Nintendo Switch. It is a phenomenal console. I have played it over friends and family's houses before, and I'm starting to get used to the Joy-Cons and everything. But how do I get one myself? And do I use the Wii U to get that? One option that I have is to save up enough money to buy the Switch on its own, and still keep my collection of Wii U stuff, and maybe expand upon it in the future. That sounds good and all, but currently, that's a lot to put out for the Switch, and I haven't even factored in the games. I don't know if any of them are pre-owned up to this point, if that'll help with like chowing down a little bit on the cost per game. I don't think they're any cheaper if I buy them digitally, like download them to the Switch, compared to buying a physical cartridge for them. And so far, there isn't a big library of games for the Switch that I want to get, but some of them actually do overlap with the Wii U. So there's Sonic Mania, there's eventually Smash Ultimate, there's Super Mario Odyssey, and there's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Probably I would get Splatoon 2, depends on how much I like more of the campaign on Splatoon 1 and more multiplayer with it. There is LEGO City Undercover, which, as you see here, is also on the Wii U. I don't think they have Super Mario 3D World or Super Mario Maker on the Switch, and I don't expect them to move this over to the Switch either. Shovel Knight, I could probably put off to the side if I wanted to, if I didn't think there was actually going to be an ability to play multiplayer with it, and I could still play it on the PC, but just got a controller for it. Or I think there is a Switch version of it, like Treasure Trove, I believe, so it has some of the features built in already, so there's that. LEGO Batman 3, I could still get that on another console. I don't know if it would be in the Switch already, but I could still get it for the 360. And there's probably more coming down the road, and probably more that are already available that I can't recall off the top of my head. I'm not sure about ARMS. Yoshi's Woolly World does interest me, but I think that's on the Wii U? I forget. There was 1 or 2 Kirby games, I think, on the Wii U too. I might have missed them from my collection on this list. But anywho, there's a lot of overlap, and you know, they kind of did that with a couple games right out the gate. I mean, Breath of the Wild was available on the Wii U and Switch at launch of the Switch. And then later on, some of these other games had Switch adaptations from their Wii U counterpart. So it's kind of like, okay, you can abandon your old console and trade towards the new one. And I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat. Like, do I do that? I don't know. Now, one thing that I got the Wii U for was the ability to play exclusive titles on there, but still play the Wii titles that I've had previously. I will touch upon the Wii collection at a later time, and also the Xbox 360 collection, and also a little conundrum that I have between those two. But just saying for now, it's a big collection of Wii games that I have, whether or not they're shovelware. Now, it's great and all to have that ability to play the Wii games on the Wii U. I love backwards compatibility on any system. But here's kind of a problem. At some later point than getting the Wii U, I actually did pick up a used Wii console for a reasonable price. And I could still play my Wii games through there. Yes, it could be just a secondary option. I do have it every so often. I use it for homebrewing as well as playing Wii games. But for now, is it going to help as much? I mean, I'm not as dependent on the Wii U to play Wii games the way I am on the original Wii. So, I don't know. I also kind of worry about the storage between the two, of the Wii and the Wii U, and I know the Switch is better than both of those combined, but I'm not sure if it's still worth it for the Wii U. I have previously played Disney Infinity 1.0 and LEGO Dimensions on the Wii U. I didn't mention them in my collection part in the video because they were ones I returned. I already had copies of them for the Xbox 360, but I wanted to see if anything was different with them graphically, technologically, you know, if there are any functions that were different. They were virtually the same. But they ate up a lot of space on the system, even though they were like maybe like 10 gigs for the Disney Infinity, which is like a third of this console. And considering all the other games I would play with it, I don't know. With all the Wii games that I would want to play, I don't know how much of that file storage is going to be eaten up by their save data, and how much of that would be still available for the Wii U titles that I have here, and ones I'd like to expand upon. So, I feel like if I give it a little bit more time, I could still keep the Wii U around. And then get the Switch later, and then get the games going with the Switch. Maybe I could translate a few of them over. But I can't really see myself right now of trading everything for the Wii U library into the Switch. There's mainly 1 or 2 titles that are holding me back from that. That's Super Mario 3D World, because I've heard a lot of good things about it as a Mario game. There's Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, because I don't know if they're going to put it onto the Switch, even with Ultimate coming up. And then there's Super Mario Maker, my favorite of Wii games, or Wii U games. There's also Mini Mario and Amiibo Challenge or whatever, but that's okay as long as I complete it. And I will try to get footage of that whole gameplay, so I feel happy with completing that game. But Super Mario Maker is what got me into the Wii U to start with. And it's one of the games that I probably come back to the most out of the Wii U library. So it means a lot for me that I keep the system around so I can play that game. I know it has been translated over to the Nintendo 3DS, and I'm kind of hoping with that in mind, they may be translated over to the Switch at a later point. I haven't heard anything about it currently, so I don't know for sure. When I hear that news, maybe I will be more inclined to give up the Wii U. But it also feels kind of weird because I've only had like 1 or 2 gaps in the Nintendo console library that I've actually skipped over or barely played a certain console. I mean, with the Wii, I had the original Wii. I traded it at some point later to get the black Wii Motion Plus Wii because there was a disc reading error that I had with the original one. And like the launch original one I'm talking about. That black Wii turned into this Wii U. And I haven't played anything before the NES. Like, I don't have a Famicom or anything like that. I did get a Super Nintendo more recently, but I'm still trying to figure out how to build up a collection with those games. But it feels weird to have like a gap in between there. Nintendo has been so involved with my gaming experience, allowing me to explore many different titles. And not that I haven't explored them outside of this with the PlayStation 2 or the Xbox 360 that I have, but a lot of them work well on the same consoles I've grown up with for so long. And I kind of, in a way, I feel some Nintendo fanboy, loyalty to Nintendo, which is why I lean towards those more easily than an Xbox or a PlayStation. But I still kind of like what they offer and, the types of, IPs that are available through there that I haven't adapted from other resources. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, if I'm just overthinking this, or if there is a more reasonable solution than I'm coming up with. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your favorite Nintendo Wii U games. Maybe you can help me weigh in on how I can move from the Wii U into the Switch, because it is a dicey thing right now, but it is something that I am still trying to do at some point. Also, let me know if you have a favorite Amiibo or Amiibo feature in any of the games from the Nintendo 3DS to the Wii U, or maybe into the Switch, because they still use those as well. We'll see you next time with more video game videos, and look out for more Game McDote coming soon.